Sage Forsaken here, and for 2 years I've been telling you that this figure set was a reality, that it was going to be coming to our stores, and guess what? It's finally here. So I'm in the southern part of the North Carolina. I'm in North Carolina, southern part of the United States, and we finally have the new 3-packs in my stores. Now, I went ahead and bought one of the other sets from Rampage instead of buying another 3-pack right now. But I will be, looking over that as well, even though it has been reviewed by others. But I'm going to go ahead and open this up, take these out of the package, and we're going to look at these figures together. Plenty of people have given their opinions on these figures, so I don't think you're going to really hear a lot of new stuff here. But I like to do my own personal review, even though this is something that most of you have already seen. So if you haven't seen these yet, then of course this is the new Core Elite line. It does have 2 of the new figures in this particular package. It has Smoke. It has, basically El Hefe. And basically, those are the figures we're going to be looking at mostly. Now, of course, we will double check all the other stuff in the packaging. Anyway, I'm going to pause this video and we'll go ahead and pick up from there. Okay, and we're back. So here is Smoke out of the package. The first thing I want to talk about is the head sculpt. They do have pretty good head sculpt on this guy. I really like the detailing. He looks distinct without looking weird. I mean, he's not exactly normal looking, but he looks distinct without looking weird. I like the hair color choice. It makes him look like he's a little bit older, more distinguished. And unfortunately, the scarf piece, you can see on mine, the paint doesn't quite go all the way down in places. The scarf piece is a part of this chest piece. So any figure you put on this chest piece's head, if you were customizing, would have this same exact scarf piece, unless you were to Dremel it down or something of that nature. The look and feel of this right here reminds me a lot of Reaper. As far as if this were painted orange, this would be a really great Reaper body if he didn't have this scarf here. Of course, he'd need like short sleeves or something there. As far as the body goes, his arm does go all the way up and down. It will go all the way around. There's nothing really inhibiting except for watching out for his holsters. The arm will bend at nearly a 90 degree. Sorry, getting out of focus there. When you look at this, though, you can see that they sculpted it so that holding a gun, even though he's not like his hand is kind of cocked down a little bit, like he was holding a gun. So it'd look more natural when he's holding a gun. The other arm does the same exact movement. There's nothing different about it as far as that goes, because this is a swivel here. Just so you know, I didn't point that out. It does bend at 90 degrees, but it also swivels. So you have basically, this is on a peg. There's a peg that goes up into this arm that will pivot all the way around. And then, of course, the normal pivoting action you would see with an arm. As far as the head goes, like I said, it doesn't move side to side because the scarf is in the way. If he can sit in a vehicle, sort of, but he doesn't really like his legs to go all the way up. When he goes all the way up, his legs do splay outward, which will make it difficult for some vehicles to hold him. And I'm sure that's partly because the ball that's in there, but you can kind of push it together after you get it up. You just got to be careful. You don't want to put too much force on these figures. Other people have had some of them come apart, but this one seems to be holding up pretty good. He does have a holster here. This is for a gun, it looks like, and this is, I think they say this is for his ammo clip he comes with. We'll look at accessories in a moment. Let me go ahead and pause up the video for a second. And welcome back, guys. So, and gals, sorry, didn't mean to assume. As I was saying, he does come with an extra ammo clip for his rifle, and the extra ammo clip is supposed to go into one of these pouches, I assume. Let me see here, which one looks best. Okay, so after reviewing the two different pouches, you can see how this pouch has a hole in the bottom. That's for the barrel to go through for the little pistol he has. This pouch has a little rubber grommet that kind of goes over the top of the pouch so that the clip can feed into the pouch, but it'll also kind of hold it in place. So, you know, it's not really holding it in there, more it's the friction from the other parts holding it in there. As far as this gun goes, it goes right into here. Promise. This is actually one of the things they had with the Puma that I thought was kind of silly. They make a holster. They want to have the gun with a silencer on it. So they make the holster so the silencer has to stick out the bottom of the holster. But of course, in reality, you would just not have the silencer on it while it was holstered. You put the silencer on it. You see it in movies all the time. The guy will kind of you know, put the silencer on after the fact. Now, I know you can't really do that as this with an action figure like this, but you could have like a case, like a suitcase that holds the pistol or something of that nature. That would, of course, let you have a, you know, a silenced pistol if you wanted to have a silenced pistol in the arsenal. Now, a lot of flack has been given because the pegs that hold these guns, the peg is so long, and it barely even feels like it's going to hold the gun at all, especially on this figure. What's funny is that, like some of the other figures, it actually goes into deeper. Like, and it's, you know, it's not going to come out on him, which is hilarious because who wants to give Dozer the cool gun? He's already got a rocket launcher. What's he need a gun for? I mean, he's taking out a tank. He doesn't need to take out some guys. Anyway, of course, you then get this whole situation where the hand will grip right in here. And pretty much, I mean, he can hold it. He cannot really do like a two-handed thing on it because of the way the handle is. It's not really made to hold two-handed the way this gun is designed. The other thing I would say is that if I were really, since the peg doesn't really work for this character, I've considered either cutting it down to try to see if I could get it to fit better in here. With some poster putty and stuff, like, because that's a very shallow hole. Cut this peg down so it fits close to the body, and then it'll fit in there. Or I've considered just cutting it off altogether. I mean, I know that it's just a toy, but it kind of looks silly with the peg flying off the side. And especially when you put it in his other hand, and the peg is over on the side. Unless his hand were to be able to rest. Let me see if I can do that. Can this hand? No, it cannot reach over that far. That would have been cool. Now, of course, he can kind of... Sorry, I'll show you in a second what I'm saying. You can kind of have him cradling it like this. Like, hey, I'm just guarding, or I'm walking, or whatever. Like, you can kind of put it up. So there are, you can, you know, if you're doing action figure photography, there are some ways you can make it look like, especially if you have the other clip in that hand, it looked like he was about to feed a clip into his gun. Anyway, this has been Smoke. I hope that's his name still. I get these things all mixed up sometimes. Yeah, this has been Smoke. So, like I said, you can see here, one of the concerns I noticed is this joint right here on the shoulder is a little loose looking, but it hasn't really given me any trouble yet. I'm wondering, with the other shoulder, it was almost like it was upside down and backwards. So I'm wondering if I flip it around and try the other side. No, that definitely doesn't look good. Oh my god, my arm. Oh my god. Anyway, thanks for watching this part of my video. I'm going to pause it up and we will come back. Oh, let me just... Of course, he does have some pivot in the waist, so he can turn. Don't know if I showed that really good. It also is a ball joint, so it kind of wiggles. But overall, it seems to be... People have complained that these are loose. And even the trick shot that I saw at the store, when I was looking at the other sets, when I showed earlier in the year, the, what do you call them sets? The bases, the rock play sets. Those play sets seem to have a trick shot nearly falling apart half the time because of the way he was holstered in there. Okay, let's look at El Hefe. Now, so looking at El Hefe, I know you can't see him. I know this is awesome TV right now. Looking at El Hefe, I'm just going to go ahead and put his weapons in him. He has a cross-draw pistol that I can't really get to go much deeper into the holster, but I'm going to wiggle it later and try. And he's got a machete that holsters on his lower leg. His articulation is pretty much going to be the same, though of course he is a different body type, so we do run into little things that may be slightly different. But you can see it has the same type of pivots in every location. His head does turn slightly, but it doesn't spin all the way around like some of the old core figures. You could almost spin them all the way around. His collar is impeding him from turning his head any further. So just keep that in mind if you were trying to do something with this figure. Now, some people have complained that this is a different color than his pant legs. If you look at Bulletproof Vest online, you can see plenty of Bulletproof Vest where the vest part has a part that goes down and covers the crotch and the back. The reason being is all your vitals are right here. So if you get hit in the arm, you're less likely to die. If you get hit right here or anywhere in here, in a real situation, the bullets hitting you in this region would be very hard to, that's a stomach wound. It's going to get infected. It's going to get, it's going to need lots of operations. So in a lot of ways, it makes sense that, it doesn't do that there. Now, looking at this El Hefe, we have the same thing going on with this shoulder joint as the other one, where it's a good shoulder joint. It's working, not having any problems with it. But over time, if you're doing a lot of play, a lot of roughhousing with it, that would probably be a problem later on. So just keep that in mind when buying these figures. Try to look at the joints, try to look at the paint. The first set of this set I saw, it did not have the, it didn't have, wonderful. It basically had a problem with smoke here. He had like some scrapage right here, and it's like it took off the paint or something. And the finish on this, it's like a really satiny finish. It's like really soft and nice to the touch. It was all scraped up on the other one I saw in the store. So anytime you're looking at these 3-packs, I really suggest you do a good inspection of the parts. Try to look at their shoulder joints because that seems to be a known issue. Try to look at their, is their paint looking good? Because you can see, like I said, his scarf comes down and there's little bitty tassels there. Probably most of these aren't going to have those tiny bitty tassels done because they just have a mask that they do to paint these things. Overall, I'm really pleased. This was a $5 set, and I think these are probably going to go back up. Here's what I think has happened. These 3 figure sets have the same UPC code as the original three-piece sets they had last year. So last year they were selling for $6 or $7, depending on where you were and what Walmart you were at and stuff. And they just happen to have rolled the prices back for the release of these to $5. So if you want to get these, go ahead and get them now, because it's going to be harder and harder to find them at that price, I believe. I believe they'll go up a dollar or two after the first initial release here, and then they'll be that way until they do some more clearancing next time. Anyway, as always, pour on the plastic. I hope that at least my review of these figures has at least given you as much or more than someone else has reviewed them. Remember, you can always dip these guns into hot water to straighten them out. You can also hit them with a hairdryer for about 30 to 60 seconds and then straighten them out, and they will stay straight after the fact. You can also, this is soft enough you can kind of pivot it right here, but just remember that it probably will go back to the other shape at times. But pour on the plastic. Thanks for watching and have a great night. Hey, sorry to, bonus. So, the motorcycle that comes with the set, I didn't really talk about it. It's the same motorcycle they've been using for a long time. It's a good looking motorcycle. These figures don't really fit the motorcycle. The issue is they're tall enough that if their feet are resting on these feet rests that they have here, that it's not really feasible for them to drive, much less their hands don't want to hold the steering wheel. Especially Smoke's here with his hands cocked up slightly so they can hold a pistol better. It's basically inhibiting his ability to hold both steering wheels when you have him sitting on the bike. I fought with it, and I got one shot of him on the bike, but he was kind of standing, like doing a shooting at the same time, and I've decided that's the compromise you're going to have to make. If you decide to take a picture of the Smoke riding this motorcycle, he's going to have his pistol in one hand or something, so that it makes sense that he's not holding the steering wheel with both hands. The other issue you run into is the bike itself has no kickstand. So this bike has nothing to hold it up. And of course his feet are not quite long enough, unless you really lay it over sideways, to be touching the ground while he's sitting on it. I'm sure some people have figured something out with this. I've seen some cool shots online, but it is going to be an issue. Even the old figures struggled with this, especially some of the ones that didn't have that had the narrower legs and stuff. But it's one of those things where it's like, for the price you're getting this for, $5, you get a bike, you get a static figure. And some people are like, well, I don't want a static figure. That's a perfectly good head for a custom. I've actually made this guy into a articulated figure. If you want to look at my other customs, you get his rocket launcher that you wouldn't get if you weren't getting this figure. So yes, I would love it if they had some other options, like an armory, or like a punching bag or something. Punching dummy would even be cool, or maybe a robot. Since the core is all cybernetic and stuff, nano machines and stuff, maybe they have robotic soldiers. I know you'd have to be careful with copyright because G.I. Joe had bats, but of course these would be less articulated than the regular figures because they're robots. That would make sense if they just had like tank treads or something for lower extremities, and then some missiles and stuff for the top, and some sort of sensor to see with, kind of Johnny 5 or something. Anyway, thanks again for watching my videos, and I really am signing off this time.